bids. This is a really good sign of kind of the coverage we're getting in construction bids on the last month or two. We haven't had 8 general contractors bid on a job in years. The lowest qualified bidder was Bernco Incorporated at $1,869,000. Funding for this project was split between 2024 and 2025 capital improvement plan, which is why you're seeing the 2 budget amendments, one for 24, one for 25. Obviously, there's only a few more weeks left, so realistically, we're not going to spend much of that first allocation. That's all I got.
Thank you. Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ben, not a direct question for you,
Sure.
just sort of an overall comment on today's agenda, because I'm incredibly uncomfortable with approving fiscal year 25 budget amendments already when the budget isn't technically been finalized yet. I know you're kind of shaking your head because, you know, we're sort of in that gray area space.
Yeah.
And the 750, I don't have a problem with. We had planned for that. My problem starts to roll into the, you know, 1,119,000, and then the Bernco contracts for everything. So it's not like we can separate out, you know, the 1 million from that contract to just do the 750 work.
Correct.
And I'm not opposed to the work that you're trying to do. It's really just about the confidence in the numbers and the finalization of that budget. And I would like to separate off fiscal year 25 items out and move it to January, but I don't know how that would affect you in the progress of this project now.
So this is a first for me. But I will say in the last budget cycle, the one coming up, finance is splitting some projects between 2 years. This one has been in design. I think we brought the contract to you guys for design in June-ish. So it's just bad timing. I talked to finance about it before this meeting. They suggested put both budget amendments in today so you can see the totality of it. Whether we want to look at that a different way, we can do that. Fully understanding that it's not totally approved yet for 25. The 750, I think we'd be fine if we separate it because realistically it's Christmas time and we got to do submittals, permits, things like that. So I don't see us spending a huge bulk of money all of a sudden in December. So if that helps you, I don't know that it would impact the project.
And I'm more so worried about that one contract for the 1.8, you know, the time it would take to go back. And, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, can you remove that 1 million from the contract?
Yeah, that
We
gets
just approved the
swirly.
750, you know, like it gets
Yeah.
complicated for this item and some of the other items too, you know, with JACO and IT, there's a couple items where literally fiscal year 24 and 25 are the same item and it's a budget amendment for both. So this is tricky. I don't really know the solution here because I want you to get your projects done
Appreciate
and
that.
started. I just technically am uncomfortable with the numbers. So I don't really, I was going to make a motion to move all the 25 stuff to next month, but I don't know if
Contractually, I think it makes it difficult on the general contractor, I would
It's-
think, because it's 2 separate contract. And there may be some costs associated with that. I'm not sure. I'd really have to look into that, but yeah, it would cause a little hiccup.
Okay. Let me think about this one. And if I do vote no, it's not because I'm against this project. It's just because I'm just being finicky about the numbers.
Okay.
Thank you, Ben.
Yep,
Thank you, Mr.
understood.
Chair.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sabatini.
Thank you, Chair. Hey, Ben.
Hi.
Just to kind of follow up what Commissioner Kraft was saying, could we just use 2024 capital improvement funds theoretically? I know we have a surplus there rather than even touching 2025. I'm not opposed to doing the project whatsoever. I agree with Commissioner Kraft. I mean, he's spot on. I mean, the budget hasn't been adopted theoretically. So I wouldn't be opposed to just saying this is 2024, but I don't know where we stand as far as dollar amounts in that,
Yeah, that'd be a Steve question for sure.
and I don't see him here.
Yeah. So, certainly if there was surplus there, which I'm not sure what that looks like, being very upfront with you, certainly that would be a way to do it. I know it's a weird one.
Okay. I guess, Chair, do we have anyone here that could answer that? Was finance going to send anybody here to the meeting?
I'm not hearing everything you're saying, but finance obviously isn't here.
Sometimes they do, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Ben.
Hi.
I just want to address the issue that has been raised. Looking through this week's committee activity, this situation is going to be applicable to about 9 or 10 others on our agendas moving forward, especially on mine on Thursday. So we need to come to some resolution of how we want to deal with this. Otherwise, it's going to be a repeat conversation on all of these agenda items moving forward. I don't have an answer. I was shocked to see 2024, 2025 agenda items, changes to things that we just approved a week ago. And so I don't have an answer, but it's going to be a reoccurring issue throughout the whole week, probably till the end of the year. Thank you, Chair.
It's my understanding that the period for the executive's office to veto anything will expire next Monday or Tuesday. So by the time we go to full board, we'll know whether anything's been vetoed or not. So at the time of full board, we will have a approved budget.
So what do we do today?
That's up to all of us, I suppose. Commissioner Brown.
Thank you. I don't anticipate a veto in my discussion with the OC's office. But if there is a veto, we'll be able to take action if the board wants to at our full board meeting in December and, you know, on any of these items in light of the veto. So we could certainly pass these things along the full board, and if there's a veto that maybe changes your opinion about something, we could certainly take action at that time. But it's been said publicly and privately that I don't anticipate a veto. So in terms of that item and the rest of the projects, you know, they're necessary. I mean, they're trying to just make sure they got the money to get these projects done, and they're amending these budgets, you know, pulling some from this year and tagging it on to next year and using what they had from this year to next year. And I think it's appropriate, and I'm going to support them for that reason. And I'm not concerned about the veto entering into it. So that's my personal opinion, and you're all free to do what you need to do, but I'm comfortable proceeding. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Board.
Commissioner Kraft, did you have a second request?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Based on that timeline and having a second look at it before full board, I'm fine with moving the projects forward then. That's fine with me. We'll give Ben less of a headache.
I mean, in a perfect
Thank you,
world, I
Mr.
wouldn't be bringing these in December. It's just we're pushing to the end with engineers, architects, and everything else we got going on. So,
Commissioner Nard.
Well, I don't have anything to ask about the project, but I just wanted to say, did you want to amend the motion to include A, B, and C, since he explained all three of
No,
those?
we can cover those in a minute,
'cause I thought
because
you
we'd have to
explained.
vote to either way.
Okay. That's all I had.
Is there any reason for urgency with this?
well, I want the money that I had earmarked for this project in '24 encumbered. Yeah.
Okay, so that's.
Because like I was mentioning earlier, I have several projects that are in capital plan, and they're in for 2 years because I don't anticipate tying up all the money in the first year, only in the second year. It's just, so I think finance is trying to juggle some of those numbers with between years, so sometimes they're split, as of recently, so that's how we end up kind of with this, where it's two Same item, both in the capital plan, but different years.
Okay. Seeing no more Commissioner Grote?
Why did you wait it so long to the last month of the year to bring this project forward?
They've been,
We are
dis-
between the,
what's that?
we are between the budget. You're bringing last minute. Finance department is not even here to answer the questions.
I mean, respectfully, it's not last minute. I mean, we work every month of the year and design takes time. And Jaco's here today and I'm here today. We have items and we're trying to take care of our items and trying to get through our capital plan and get everything designed, engineered and approved and move forward to fix. So I mean, I look at December as the same as any other month, really. It's just another month. Just happens to have a couple holidays. So
Commissioner Zinner?
Ben, did you say that you had first brought this project forth 4 months ago?
yeah, the design, the design was, contract with the architect was brought forward in June for the design. So they spent the last about 6 months designing and we put it out on, so it's about 6 months between the architect receiving the contract to move forward on design, the bid process, which is about a month, and then here we are today. So that's kind of that time period.
Thank you
Yep,
for the explanation again.
absolutely.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I see no more speakers. This is for item 6A only. Please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Moving on to 6B, this is a budget amendment, capital improvement fund, F&O, purchasing department for $1,119,000, and Ben's already covered this. Does anybody? Thank you.
Support.
Thank you. Commissioner Sabatini and Kraft made the motion and seconded it to move 6B and C to full board. Seeing no discussion, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Moving on to item 6D, capital improvement fund for IT infrastructure and facilities and operation and purchasing renovations, $127,000. I need a motion to move the full board.
So move.
Support, Zinner.
Thank you, Commissioner Hall and Zinner. Made the motion and supported to move 6D to full board. Jaco, you're on.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I most certainly understand the concerns. This is a follow-up to what Ben just talked about. This is the IT component of that project. And it is for a total of $169,543, and it's to provide the network infrastructure as well as the wireless infrastructure for that building and the department's renovations. It's mostly for network switches and wireless access points and the implementation thereof. People-driven responded to a request for qualifications to become the county's network and data center partner. That is what this is for. This is obviously also falls with 2 years' budget items. The one for $127,000 for this year, and then also one for next year for the difference.
Thank you. Must have been very clear, no questions today. Please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Item 6E, also IT infrastructure work for F&O and purchasing, and that's $169,543.23. I need a motion to move this to full board.
So move.
Support.
Thank you. Commissioner Hall and Nard made the motion and seconded it to move 6E to full board. Jaco?
Are you talking about the 169,000, Commissioner?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because
we
that
need
was
to-
the
yeah,
same one
That's the
we
same
just
one, so let's
discussed.
vote on 6. We didn't take D and E together, did we?
We didn't take it
Yeah,
together.
so vote on 6E, please.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. We will take 6F and G together. And that's a budget amendment for the capital improvement fund for the jail tracker, transportation, and jail bond modules. I need a motion to move 6F and G to full board.
Support.
Thank you. Commissioner Narden Grote made the motion and seconded to move F and G, 6F and G to full board. Jaco?
The sheriff's office currently utilizes two in-house developed systems for inmate transport and jail bonds. Both these systems have to be replaced, and we've therefore decided to have the current vendor for the sheriff system, which is JailTracker, for them to write this applications for us, and the total cost of that. The inmate transport system is a 76,750. And then also the JailTracker, sorry, the inmate transport is 81,250 and jail bond is 76,650 for a total of $157,900. So with the integration of these systems, obviously, being integrated in the current jail system, it will help with the processing and accuracy and so forth moving forward.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown?
Jake, I heard you said about improving accuracy and coordination, but what exactly do they do? What exactly are they helping?
The basic premise of his, Commissioner, if you have three different systems where you input data, you have three chances of making a mistake, on a specific inmate, for example. If you input it in one place and it's the same for all three, it really reduces, the chances of doing that. And obviously, systems nowadays have the ability to integrate, and that is, it really improves efficiency in departments when we're able to do that. In other words, not running different systems that has to be managed separately.
That's a common application though, isn't it?
JailTracker, you mean?
Doing that type of
Yeah,
process?
we purchased JailTracker, I think it's now about 3 years ago, implemented it for the county, and the sheriff office have been using it. The systems, the two systems that was in-house written, the standalone systems that was, coded before, long before that system came into existence. So now what we want to do is just have the company that provide these services to the county today, have that system and have that system integrated into their system.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Moving on, I'd like to combine 6H and I. Budget Amendment Capital Improvement Fund, Electronic Health Record Software for $515,091.81. I need a motion to move to full board for these two.
Move to support.
Thank you. Commissioners Perna and Lucido made the motion and seconded to move 6H and I to full board. Jaco?
Commissioners, this is the replacement of the electronic health system that we have in place today, that we've used for many years. A bid went out in October of this year to replace this system. We only had two bidders that responded to that RFP. And one bidder was disqualified because they didn't provide all the documentation that was requested and a decision could not be made. And then Patagonia Health Incorporated met the requirements of the RFP and was the other bidder. The estimated timeline of this project is going to be about 6 to 8 months. It is a SaaS solution, a software as a service solution, as many of our systems have been converted to that. The total cost of the system is $515,091. We budgeted $500,000, so it's going to be about $15,000 more than what we than the amount that we budgeted for. And we believe that that can come from IT contingency in 2025. The system have obviously many benefits. The health department are not very happy and satisfied with the current system that they've been using. They've used it throughout the COVID years and way before that, and the services has not been good, and for that reason, they have decided that they would like to replace the system.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown?
During COVID, didn't we buy the health department some sophisticated software to be able to track certain information?
Yes.
And is this, it sounds, this isn't duplicate tracking, is it? I mean, are we, can't they use that same system that was quite sophisticated for this application? I mean, obviously, if you looked at it, I assume so, but can you tell me?
Yeah, that system, Commissioner, is designed for many other applications. In other words,
Just not this one.
things like scheduling. They use it to this day, and we continuing to add to it. But they use it, for example, to schedule their immunizations, things like that, and keep record of it and inform people and so forth. So that's
Can't add
used on a
fields
many.
to- We can't add fields like this to it?
No, not to this application. This application is their, what we call a case management system. So everybody that comes to the health department for whatever reason, all that information is tracked there. And that's what
Trust
this,
your judgment, okay.
absolutely,
I was curious if
Commissioner.
you did that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Kraft?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hi, Jaco.
Hi, Commissioner.
First off, thank you for that breakdown for the funds, because I did see in the capital plan that we had budgeted 500,000 and we went a little over, and you found some extra money to pay for it. I appreciate that. Thank you for pointing that out to us. My question is the annual operating costs. Further down on our sheet, it's 206,000 the first year, 214,000 in year 3 for maintenance. And it looks like the contract ends in 2029. Is that correct?
Yeah, usually when we engage with these companies, you can choose somewhere between 3 and 5 years. And what we try to do is to get to that sweet spot where you pay the least amount of money over a period of 3 to 5 years as a total. Because if you don't contract them up front and you let it go until that time, usually what happens, I'm not saying all the time, but usually what happens, the cost would be higher because, you are on the system and it's not that easy to move from one system to another. So we try to contract to as close as possible to 5 years.
Okay. So there will be, so it's not just 3 years, it's going to be 5 years. Is it
Yeah,
around
so
that
after five-
$200,000 mark for year 4 and year 5 also? Similar to year 2 and year 3?
Yeah, similar to every year, like the cost they have there from 26 to 29.
Yep.
That is the actual cost we're gonna pay for those years. So 2030, you would expect to have more or less that similar percentage, which is not always the case. But what we do then at that point in time, we review the application, make sure everybody is good with the application and everything is working well. And then we renegotiate another 3 to 5 year term with the company. That seems to work best. when dealing with these situations.
Okay, and then do they assist at all with the transfer of information? So
Yes.
everything we have now will be completely transferred
It
over with their help?
includes, our current data, moving that over to the new system.
Okay, and training modules going forward?
I am not that aware, Cindy, training modules also included.
Good, Workday has me snake bit because we're just doing training.
We
We're paying for
understand,
that
and
hand over fist. So I wanted to, just
Yeah.
curious if this was the same.
I think those are good concerns. We have the same concerns, Commissioner, and in our RFP processes, we've learned a lot when it comes to SaaS applications. So we apply those things as we get better in putting those up.
Thank you, Jaco. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Hall?
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Jaco. I just
Hi,
want to
Commissioner.
follow up on Commissioner Kraft because I think you answered him with what I was going to ask. I've identified in the past, you're our eyes and ears and brain trust on computer systems and datas and upgrades. So how does the process work? Does the department head come to you with these new systems and say, this is going to improve X, Y, Z, or it's going to reduce headcount, or again, and as Phil said, we trust your judgment, not that we don't trust theirs, but I'm not an IT expert, never was, don't want to be. So how does it work?
So how that process work, every year around about beginning of May, we reach out to departments and schedule budget meetings with them. That's one aspect of it, and I want to address that first. During those budget meetings, we then sit down with the departments, discuss their technology needs for the future. And that is a difficult process in the sense that just one of the things that you brought up here today, budgeting, that is 7 months ahead of the next year of what you're going to need. That's a long time ahead to think about your needs for the future. But that's the process we have to deal with. So we sit down with the departments, have those discussions. At those times, they will bring up certain needs that they have. During the year, my project managers also have regular meetings with the different departments. And during those discussions, they would bring up if a system, for example, is not working for them. And then we will sit down and have conversations around that, and then decide whether that needs to be a project for the next year, if they want to replace the system, or whether they, are okay with the system the way it is now. We just need to make some changes to it and things like that. Those are all discussed. At that point in time, we will then make a decision. And then obviously, like in this case, we will decide when do we want to go out to RFP, when should we put money in the budget for that project. This project was probably discussed about 4 years ago. The first discussion started, about replacing it. So it takes a while before we get to that point where we say, okay, it is time to replace it, and then go ahead. And then we have a project management team, which provides a business system analyst, which is a person that go in and analyze the environment. In other words, what's out there, what systems are out there, and so forth. We collect information so we can get the right questions on the RFPs and so forth. And once we have all that information, we then go to RFP and then decide on a system, do post bids, and obviously then bring in a new system. Benefits and things like that, that is information that is, by our BSAs and people like that. We have conversations with our departments to determine and make sure that those needs are being met. And that is what determines what the end product is going to look like.
That was very detailed, so thank you for that. And I'm going to pose this to Joe. On some of these items, it says budget amendment 2024 budget and budget amendment for 2025. Am I reading that correctly? So we're amending what we approved 2 weeks ago? Is that how I should read that?
Yes, Commissioner, I don't know exactly which one you're talking about, but that would be correct. We would be
Well, you could
amending
pick D.
next year's budget that hasn't been adopted yet.
So we're actually amending the capital improvement budget that we just approved to, look at item D, for example.
Correct.
Got a 2024 expenditure and a budget amendment capital improvement fund 2025.
So we essentially will be moving that amount of money from the general fund and putting it into the fund so it can be used for that purpose specifically.
Okay, because it's gonna be specific when we get down to items, where are they? The ones for COMTEC that are like 2, 3, almost $5 million. Okay, Jaco, thank you very much. That's all I have, Chair.
Thank you. Electronic health record software. Who are we keeping track of?
Everybody that come to the county's health department for services, you know, whether it's immunizations, you know, all the things that they get from family health and so forth.
Is this record, is this information kept on the cloud, I assume?
Yeah,
Is it encrypted by us on
yes,
the cloud?
it is HIPAA secured.
Okay.
You know, everything, all those things are requirements in the RFP that we put out, so it has to be.
Okay, good. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Moving on to 6J and K. Budget amendment for capital improvement fund for the jury room AV replacement, $78,148.72. I need a motion to move these two items to full board.
So moved by Nars.
Support Zinner.
Thank you, Commissioners Narn and Zinner. Made the motion and supported it to move 6J and K to full board. Jaco?
Commissioner, I just want to mention that this, there's a point I'm making here. We actually using the bid that went out for the video wall. We are buying off of that bid for this purpose, so this one actually should have been the next one, you know, explaining it in that way. But be that as it may, that'll make sense in a bit. This is a scope of work that provide for a purchase and installation of a new video and audio equipment for the jury room. The current system is over 10 years old and failing. This new system will provide for the ability to split the room if needed, so two areas can function separately or as a whole. This system was budgeted for in 2024, and we are using provided unit pricing from the AV Works RFP response to take advantage of the competitive bid process and pricing.
Thank you. So this isn't attached to.
It's a separate project,
It's a separate project.
but we are able to buy off of that
piggybacking on
project.
the bid.
Yep.
Okay. Seeing no speakers, please vote.
Commissioner Nard, did you receive a vote? Nope. Thank you. Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Moving on to items L and M. Usually, no, excuse me. Yes, L and M. L is for two capital improvements, one for $1 million and one for $1,930,853, both for the video wall replacement. I need a motion to move L&M to full board.
So moved by Nard.
Thank you. Commissioner Nard and Romano made the motion and seconded it to move 6L&M to full board. Jaco, please explain why this is $3 million for the wall.
Well, it is a pretty expensive endeavor. And this is obviously a scope of work for the purchase and installation of a new video wall. This was done in 2012, 13. The video wall was implemented, so the equipment's over 10 years old already. All the existing display panels will be upgraded along with replacement of existing video management system and video controllers. Rooms included this project that are on the main floor of the video wall, control room, EOC, small conference room, and then some software on ICC main and small conference room. All work includes a 5-year material and labor warranty, software updates, and 2 maintenance inspections per year. AV Works, the company that I just talked about, is the lowest qualified bidder to do this work.
Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead.
Commissioner Sabatini?
Thank you, Chair. Jaco, in regards to the numbers here, so I see how you break it out, but when the 2024 CIP was brought to us, we only had $1 million there.
That's correct.
And then in 2025, you added another $2 million to that. So my question is back in 24 when we were gonna plan for this project, were we not under the impression it was gonna cost us $3 million? Or did this price just triple over a year?
Yeah, quite honestly, we were not under the impression at that point in time. It was really, as far as I'm concerned, a placeholder for us. We knew it's going to be in excess of $1 million, but really didn't have an idea of exactly how much it's going to cost us. When we started running numbers in 2024 and started talking to companies, this conversation started probably just for background purposes, probably started about 5-6 years ago because of the fact that the video wall was aging. And at that point in time, the number we threw out was, around $1 million. When we started looking at it, we saw that, it's probably going to cost us closer to $3 million to get all of this done. And, and as you can see, we did the RFP, and that is close to that number that it came out.
So when was the RFP done?
The RFP was done probably about 2 months ago, Tom? In July. Okay, August.
So back then, I guess the capital improvement plan at that point, that wasn't finalized. We get it with the budget. It's just a document that goes with it. October 1st. I guess what I'm trying to get at is that I understand prices change. The plan is a plan, right? But a $2 million swing,
I understand that.
is pretty significant. And I know you've saved money in other projects, which is great. But when we look at the plan and we're looking at how much we're putting the general fund into this going forward on an annual basis, and it swings that big, it takes into account other projects then that you or others want to get done for 2025 because we're taking a $2 million chunk out of something that we didn't have planned.
Yep.
I guess, when you're talking earlier, Commissioner Hall asked about, how you discuss technologies with these departments. You start that back in May, June, whenever you start that. I think with a lot of these capital improvement items going forward, if we can start tweaking those, because we're looking at big numbers, and that plan is and it changes from year to year.
Yeah.
So the better we can do planning year over year, And I know other counties do a 2-year budget and things like that, and I get that. But I think when we have a $2 million swing like that, it's tough for us to look at these swings going forward, because then, if I look at my 2025, is this off by 5 million? Is it off by 10 million? And we know how the numbers are just changing daily, it seems like, with contractors, their prices are all over the place. So if we can implement those tweaks going forward, I think that would be great for the board in the sense of what the plan is going forward. And I know your budget, we always beat you up because it keeps going up, and I understand
I
why
understand
it
that
goes up.
concern, Commissioner,
So,
absolutely.
I think that would put much more well-being at the boards when
Yeah.
we start looking at these big numbers and all the projects that you're doing. So, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucido.
Yes, thank you. I guess my question is, I realize that the technology we have right now is over 10 years old, but is there any actual issues that we're having with our current system?
Yeah, one of the things is televisions are going out, and every time they go out, we have to replace television. We don't really have budget for that. A lot of the equipment is not serviceable anymore. So the one thing is for us to keep maintenance on those systems, we actually have to pay a penalty just to get maintenance. That's the first part of it. And then we pay maintenance. And then, systems go out, and a large part of our equipment is not covered under that. If it goes out, we have to replace it. And for us, it's very difficult to keep money available because it's expensive equipment. Enough money available, and you never know when it starts getting catastrophic. 10-year-old video wall is pretty significant. I mean, it served us well up until now, but we do believe it's time to replace. And we've put this back many years. Every year we pushed it out another year, and decision was made this time. We have to move forward with this.
All right. Yeah, because I agree with Commissioner Sabatini. I had the same concern with it just not being in the 2025
Yep.
capital improvement. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Jacob, within the last couple years, we replaced a very expensive video controller.
Yep.
Is that being replaced now again?
Jennifer, or Tom, I think it's 160,000 last year. It was not a controller, it was.
So this is a full replacement of all
Yeah.
the equipment?
Yeah, so Tom said it's a full replacement of all the equipment, but I think what you're referring to is last year, we replaced, I can't remember if it was coders or what it was, but it was
wasn't cheap, that I remember.
$160,000. Yep.
Does any of this stuff get resold or anything, or do we get any value out of that? I mean, because we spent, I forget, am I remembering right? It was like $80,000 or something?
It was 160,000. I remember.
160,000.
Yep.
And we're scrapping it a year later?
Yeah, but Commissioner, also to be fair, that is the challenges that we have and had because stuff is antiquated. We had no choice but to replace that because it was starting to fail and failing quickly. And that would bring down the whole video wall. And that
Well,
was.
I understand last year we had to
Yeah.
replace that for 160,000. But can we sell that does this all just go to a scrap dealer for so much a pound?
We try to sell equipment. It's very difficult to sell used equipment, believe it or not. We just had some of our switches we believe was pretty good sold, and we got really nothing for it. It's not even worth mentioning. So it's very hard. Everybody wants to buy it from you, but they really want it from you, just to give it to them.
Okay. Commissioner Sabatini?
Thank you, Chair. Jacob, one last question. Just looking at the bid comparison on this, can you tell me the difference between who you're suggesting the AV works compared to Blue Water, because there's about a $700,000 difference there.
Tom, can you speak about that? Tom was the one that did the RFP for us, so,
Because I know this isn't the lowest bidder.
yeah.
Actually, there was another bidder that was lower, but
Yeah,
I'm
so
just curious.
So the two lower bid, the apparent low bids, the Blue Water weren't certified. They're not gold certified to install or maintain this equipment.
Excuse me, would you speak into the microphone?
Yeah, I'm sorry. So Blue Water is not certified to install or maintain this equipment. So the four low bidders, or the four other bidders, were their gold partners. The CTI, I believe it is, their numbers were actually wrong. If you know, that's an apparent bid opening. If you move down to the bottom, the actual number, I want to say was,
2.8.
they were actually high.
Yeah, okay. What does it mean, the gold?
So they have to be a gold partner in order to certify the install, and they're silver, so they're not, they would have to bring a third party in, and they did not include that in their base bid. They would also have to use a third party to do any maintenance.
Do we require that with all of our installations or companies that we deal with?
Well, for this type of bid, yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
One more question about the video wall. We have a small video wall, if you will, in the conference room above. Is that the same age as the big one?
No, that's, are you talking about the ICC video wall?
Your person's saying yes.
I think you're talking about the one in
In the conference room.
Emergency management conference room, the large
I
conference
don't
room.
know the names, but
Yeah,
could be.
so we're replacing that equipment too. That's part of this,
Is that part of this bid?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the ICC is the only one that's newer. The other ones were all done at the same time.
How many video walls do we have?
Why don't you explain what ICC means to the people that might be listening?
So the ICC is the new area, the new space on the roads.
It's the
side.
media room pretty much at the entrance to the left. Yeah.
Thank you.
And that was built probably 3 years ago.
Yeah,
So we have the media room that's on the ground floor. Then we have the huge workspace video wall. Then we have the smaller video wall in the conference room that overlooks that.
correct.
So we,
There are actually two monitors, one on either side that integrate with the video wall. So yeah, if you're the larger conference room on the second floor
yeah,
and all that equipment, that also integrates to the video wall, and that's all being replaced.
okay. And the media room is only 2 years old, so we are keeping that.
Yes.
And the $160,000 controller that's a year old, we're throwing away.
So if there's any value, it's part of the RFP to, that we would get the value of that back. But I don't recall anything that we saw that would have been that new. So
Yeah.
Jennifer and I were talking about, it might be something that we had to do for the ICC. We're gonna have to go back and look. I don't recall.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm stuck on that, but that's,
So if there is a value, we do write it in that the county will take advantage of any value that we can get out of any of the equipment. And that's right in the RFP,
okay.
if you look at the front ends. So if there is something, then we'll take a look.
Now, you've been replacing monitors in the video. So some of these monitors are only a year old or something.
Very few of them.
Can any of them be salvaged and be backups for any of the monitors in any of the video walls?
The new video wall's all laser, that's all LCD, LED.
Okay,
So it's
different
different.
technology.
Yeah.
How about the media room? Same,
The media room's staying, all those monitors are staying.
and are they the same technology as the current video wall?
Probably a little newer.
They're a
It
little
was
newer.
it was done 3 years ago, 3 years ago.
I was just wondering if we could save any of the monitors to use, when a monitor burns out in the media room, if we could use any of the year-old monitors that you just bought.
So they're different size,
Okay,
that'd be the problem there.
always a problem. Okay, thank
Yes,
you. I'll
sorry.
shut up now. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Moving on to 6N, Budget Amendment, Capital Improvement Fund, Software Defined Network Environment. Payment 505 for $1,126,696.49. I need a motion to move this item to full board.
So move.
Support.
Thank you. Commissioner Han Romano made the motion and seconded it to move 6N to full board. Jacob?
Commissioner, this is the fifth and last payment of software-defined networking. We started this process in 2020 with COVID money, and then or for partial COVID money. The rest of it was funded by the county, which we did at 0% interest. And this is the last payment for that.
Thank you. So there will be no maintenance payments into the future on this?
There will be additional maintenance payments, but not financing payments. In other words, everything maintenance, everything that we implemented was financed at 0%. So moving forward, we will pay maintenance.
Okay, but it won't be this amount. It'll be a
No,
lot less.
not at all.
Okay. Thank you. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Item 6O, Budget Amendment, Capital Improvement Fund, PowerScale Expansion, Payment 3 of 3 for $51,970.97. Motion to move to full board.
So moved by Nard.
Support.
Thank you. Commissioner Nard and Hall made the motion and seconded this 6O to move to full board. Jacob?
Commissioners, this is very similar. This is during the Isilon or our file structure implementation, also during COVID. We also financed that, and that has been paid for. This is an addition to that system that we did halfway through, and it was done for 3 payments at 0% interest, so about $150,000. This is the last payment of the 3 to increase our file serving capability for $51,970.
Thank you. Seeing no speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Item 6P and Q, Budget Amendment, Capital Improvement Fund, Network Fax and Broadcast Messaging System for $97,731. I need a motion to move to full board.
So moved by Nard.
Support, Lucido.
Thank you. Commissioners Narn and Lucido made the motion and seconded to move 6P and Q to full board. Jacob?
Commissioners, this is to upgrade our fax stream application across the county to the most current version. This obviously allow for continuance of maintenance, security updates, support, and things like that. The health department, seniors, and so forth use this to notify by broadcasting text to constituents for information about their programs. The system has been in use for quite a few years, and probably 10, 15 years maybe, and is an electronic fax system.
Thank you. Do you have any statistics on how many faxes they do a year? Because that technology is getting very old.
I agree with you 100%, and I don't have the statistics with me, but if you want to, I can see if we can get stats off the system about how many faxes and so forth is sent out by the
Because
system.
anymore, most people just scan something and send a PDF in email or something as opposed
Absolutely.
to faxing.
But there's still organizations that fax, and so I'll get you that information, Commissioner.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown?
Yeah, it goes to my question. Are we required by law to have fax capability? That's probably not a question you know about, but, I mean, certain health records are still required to be sent via fax. Certain health systems still require certain records to be faxed.
The state of Michigan, sorry to interrupt, state of Michigan, I know during COVID, we had to use fax, and that is how they do things, for certain updates that we need to send to them. I will have to check to find out if that is still in place, if they now allow people to start using more modern technology, but, I can find that out for you.
Yeah, I mean, it seems obsolete to most of us, but there's still requirements and applications, and we serving everyone have to have that ability to do that. I mean, up on my north end, we still got printing presses, so, you have to be thankful for what you have, so, thank you. Gutenberg press, I don't even know what that.
Pony Express. Are you finished?
Yes, I'm finished.
Commissioner Zinner?
Waiting for more? I don't have any more material.
You got more, you got
I
more?
didn't want to cut you off. That's all.
I like the
Technology,
North Country at Christmas time. Anyway, I would say that they're making phone calls recently. There are companies that offer fax, and some things they want faxed. I don't think there's many. My daughter came into our house and saw the fax, and she says, "Am I throwing this out, Mother?" And I said, "If you have to." But yeah, there's still some that want them.
That is true.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Chair. Thank you.
I'm thinking even though the state systems may have used fax and continue to use fax, they may also have increased their repertoire of capabilities. So I'm hoping that they've stepped up a little bit.
Yeah, the state has done a lot of work becoming more digital, but, I have to verify whether for health, for example,
Yeah.
it's still required.
And it would be also interesting if it is required, if we deal with any vendors or whatnot who require it, who they are, or on what they're still basing that on.
That's what it is.
Thank you. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
It was hard for us to get the pigeons to carry them.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you.
Too big, they couldn't fit through those holes. in the-
Item 6R, Information Technology Maintenance Agreements for the first quarter of 2025. Total cost of $129,761 for BSA, software, core technology, and Workday. So this is out of next year's budget.
That's correct.
Thank you. I need a motion to move this to full board.
So moved by Nard.
Thank you, Commissioners Nard and Wallace made the motion and seconded it to move item 6R to full board. Jacob?
Commissioners, this is the normal maintenance agreements. This is for BSNA software, which is Treasurer Tax and Assessing System. Core technology, which is Talon, which is used by the Sheriff's Office. And then for the Workday Cloud subscription service, which is $26,000 a year. That's what these three items are for.
Thank you, Commissioner Perna.
Jacob, on the agreement, the maintenance on the IT, does that cover you mentioned the Sheriff's Department, the Treasurer's Office. Does that cover all departments?
Our maintenance account really covers all departments. There's still a few out there that is paid for by departments with grant money and things like that they cover themselves. So it would be systems that is either grant funded or things they did without us knowing that. But I think we have a pretty good grasp now on what we should be paying for. And, so we're pretty close to it being for the whole county.
And when they come across a department that needs an upgrade, do they inform you because the maintenance is not complete because there's a bug in the system?
Yeah, if they will inform us, if that has to be done, if the vendors have updates that they need to push out, they will inform us.
All right, thank you.
Jacob, in all cases, do our maintenance contracts cover tech support?
Excuse me? Sorry.
In all cases, do our maintenance contracts cover tech support?
It covers it in most cases, but there's limits to it. So it all depends on what we call tech support. So for example, you can have 24/7 tech support, or you can have it just 9 to 5, things like that. So those details are worked out prior, to signing the contracts. And that is usually negotiated with our departments. In other words, how they want that system to run and when it needs to be available, and with us and the vendor.
But for instance, in these three contracts, you have some level.
We have
tech
some
support.
level of tech support,
Okay.
yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Jacob.
Thank you, Commissioner.
He's going to be glad to sit down. Okay, item 7, correspondence. Shelby Township application for industrial facilities tax exemption certificate and public hearing. Motion to receive and file.
Motion to receive and file.
Support Nard.
Thank you, Commissioner Grow. And Nard made the motion and seconded it to receive and file 7A.
We agree.
Any discussion? No? Please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Public participation. This is an opportunity for public to participate for anybody who wishes to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes on any subject. First call. Public, second call. Public participation. No public attending, so we'll close public participation and move on to commissioner comments. Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, Chair. Joe and Phil were bringing up interesting questions on the way the capital improvement plan is being utilized and presented. I'd like to suggest under my proposal for a continuous improvement meeting that be one of the items we add to it, so that at least there's a gauge moving throughout the course of the year of where we are, especially with the biggest project we all seem to be very concerned about, which is the Central Intake Center. So just a suggestion. Thank you.
Commissioner Wallace.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to thank everyone that came to the parade. We had a great time. I will speak for everyone. We had a great time.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. A special thank you to Sarah, who took the candy from me because for some reason I could not throw candy appropriately. But thank you guys, and I don't know, we had a great time. And I also wanted to let you know that I will be maybe having Crystal send out a link because I was nominated for Visionary Leader for Macomb. I should know this.
It was on social media.
Yes, it was on social media, but for the Black Excellence, that happens every year. I was nominated for that, so I'll send you a link so you can vote for me. Thank you.
Here, here.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get to you again.
Okay, thanks.
Take your turn.
Commissioner Brown.
Yeah, congratulations, Commissioner Wallace. Very good. You do us all proud. Thank you. Thanks for organizing that parade. I'm sorry I couldn't join you this year, but I know my chance is nice warm weather for a change. Yeah. Relatively, Mr.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. But I want to say, we had about $6 million worth of items on today's agenda. And the department heads did a good job answering them the best that they could. But it would have been advantageous if we had someone here from finance to answer some of the questions. And there's a lot more of those came from. I've been assured that we're gonna have someone from finance at the rest of these meetings this month. So if we get any questions about these significant questions, that we can get the answers to all of you in real time and not have to wait. The questions that were asked today that will be submitted to finance, even though we got enough to pass what we did today. Those questions will still go to finance to get clarification, and they'll be sent through Kyle to them. So, but we need finance here at these meetings to address our questions. There's a lot of, I mean, we can't get the answer. We're not satisfied with the information we're getting, or we just have questions. We can't push it on. And so hopefully we'll get the answer to our questions in real time going forward. But it was disappointing that we didn't have someone from finance here today for us, and but they're going to take steps to make sure that doesn't happen again. So I appreciate that, and be advised, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Romano.
For my commissioners, I have a good friend of mine, he's also a neighbor. He's got a calico kitten. A calico kitten. He trapped this in Dodge Park here a couple of months ago. If anybody's interested, it's not feral. It's a friendly little kitten, but he's an older gentleman and really doesn't know what to do with it. So if anybody here, I'm saying this, hopefully somebody's watching this that would like it, all I have to do is contact the commission, or maybe one of my commissioners who is so fond of cats would like to take him on. That's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
They're going to be staying away from your house, that's all I can say.
That's all I got. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Hall?
Thank you. We did have a great time at the parade. The weather was nice, but I would like to ask Mary or whoever gives her the flag that we hold in the future, that she brings the pole.
There are poles around the counter that day.
Hey, don't interrupt. We were holding the flags until the wind blew, the flag, the banner, and then one of us was chasing it down Gratiot Avenue, trying to throw out candy. So as we progress next year into this parade, make sure the banner and the pole are delivered to our commissioner, who was applauded every step of the way as we went through the parade, by the way. But we had a great time. So thank you, Chair. That's all I have.
Thank you.
I'm going to let you get away with that.
My only comment is about the budget amendments we did for the 2025 budget, which I hope it's followed through, that there is no vetoes. But if we don't have a budget on Thursday, I'll be a no on everything. So we'll see how that all goes. Hopefully it carries through.
If we don't have an approval on the budget, that's what you're saying.
Well, it's been explained to me that we don't get an approval, we just don't get vetoes.
Right,
Is that true?
that's right.
So we don't get an official stamp.
So what are you looking to have on Thursday?
Happy
No
news.
vetoes.
Okay.
Good news.
No
We got
vetoes.
that figured out.
Very good.
Yeah. The vetoes are the only official thing that the executive's department can issue, I understand. So anyway, Commissioner Perna, did you? Thank you. Commissioner
No.
Perna?
I just wanted to thank Chairman Brown. Did anyone watch Spotlight this Sunday on Channel 7?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right. It was
Did a
10
nice
in
job.
the morning.
Advertised.
Commissioner Brown did an excellent job representing Macomb County with Wayne County and Oakland County, and congratulations, Don, did a great job.
You're the
representing
best,
our
Don.
You were the best.
You were a little shaky. You were good.
They were shaking up.
Is it available as a video? We've cut the cord.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
Thank you, Commissioner Burnham.
Thank you. Seeing no other,
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Support Zinner.
I think that was Romano and Hall, wasn't it?
I think Barbie beat me.
Okay, Romano and Zinner
All right,
made the motion and seconded it.
yes, it was them.
All-
Please vote.
Please vote.
All those-